But when I got to Vietnam, I was up in I Corps in the Ashow Valley. And the Marines for a 2nd Marine Division was up there. And they had all these helicopters with 2 machine guns, 230 caliber machine guns mounted on them. But they had a shortage of gunners because the main Marine contingent hadn't arrived yet. So I was a young lieutenant when I got to Vietnam. Nobody wants a lieutenant as a door gunner. And so I got a sergeant's uniform, put it on, had different name tag on. I think I had Arnold on one of them and Abel on the other. So I was a door gunner. And I was even wounded, but I couldn't get a Purple Heart because the general caught me one time, and I'll tell you how he caught me. I was walking across the field one time coming off an airborne operation we had up in I Corps. And General Walt passed by me. He says, "Well, thank you, Sergeant." I saluted him and moved on. But Uncle Walt is what the Marines called him, not to his face, but he was kind of a kind-hearted, fatherly general. He had a memory like an elephant. And so when my boss said, "Hey, we're going to have lunch with General Walt," I said, "Well, sir, how about me sitting down there?" "No," he said, "you can sit with us." So General Walt says, "Don't I know you from somewhere, Lieutenant?" I said, "Well, I've been up at the Marine base a couple of times, but I don't know." I said, and the general said, "Well, how do you know him?" He said, "Well, there's a sergeant looks just like him, was one of the door gunners." So my General Smith didn't say a word, just kept a straight face. After General Walt left, he turned to me, my boss. He said, "Hey, if I find out you do that one more time, I'm going to court-martial your ass." I did go a couple more times. I got clipped in the arm by a AK-47 round, nothing bad. Took about 4 or 5 stitches. And the guy said, "Hey, we're going to put you in for a Purple Heart." I said, "Nope. I already got one. I don't need a second one. And I don't need a court-martial." In about 2-3 weeks, the Marines came aboard. They brought the whole Marine 2nd Division in. And my experience with Huey's kind of went downhill. But prior to that, when I was at Bragg, we'd go up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 feet with the puppy, skydive out of it. And I remember one time, you know what a thermal updraft is? It's a warm spout of air, a couple 100 yards in diameter, that rises from the heat coming off the ground. You see birds going in a circle. Well, I was the first one out of the aircraft. Opened my chute. I looked down and everybody is, after, I was supposed to be the first one down. I looked down and I said, "Hell, I'm going down awfully slow." Then I realized I wasn't going down, I was going up. Now it's fun to be in a thermal updraft. However, you don't know how high it's going. And if I recall correctly, at about 3,000, 4,000 feet, you start having a problem with something called oxygen. And most people don't know this, but it gets cooler as you go up. If you get up around 8,000 feet, you can start getting real cold. So I thought, I didn't have a plan B, I had only plan A. Cut my chute off and dropped with the reserve. Well, I don't know how you feel about a second parachute, but that reserve had been packed probably 20 years ago. Maybe it's been repacked and packed and packed. But eventually, I don't want to see mothballs coming out of it. So then I see a Huey lift up. I wonder what he's doing. Well, the Huey pilot came up, shot through, and before the updraft could affect him, he turned and banked away. But he was over me just enough to collapse my chute. The reason I couldn't, we didn't have a steerable at that time. We had what we call a Tojo slit, and you could turn it. And like if the wind was blowing this way, you'd turn it so you'd go this way and come straight down. You didn't want to go the other way. In a dead air, the thing would go about 5 miles an hour. but I couldn't get enough strength on the air filling it to pull it down. So I was getting ready to cut me loose. When I got down to the ground, the other guy said, "Hey, Reed, what happened? Hey, you want to try that again?" I said, "Yeah, like hell." I mean, I was at about probably 4,000 feet by then.